Okay, so I just got done watching The Drill, and I... Okay, so this is the episode, they got this giant drill outside of Ba Sing Se. They're trying to get their way in. They're trying to breach this giant wall, which they do a very good job showing the size of this thing and how long it takes to get up and down the wall. They really show the size of it very well. And they have to just stop this thing from bringing down the wall, and the three girls are in there, Azula and the other two. The Fire Nation has this army coming in. All the Earthbenders go to try to stop it, and they can't stop it. It's up to the Avatar and his friends to go in and try to break it from the inside out, try to destroy the inside to destroy the outside. And it just built and built and built, and this simple plan suddenly gets a little bit more complicated, and they just need to push it. But then the girls find out where they are, and they try to attack him, and then they split up, and they go into different directions. And then you have the Avatar, he heads out, and he just needs to deliver the finishing blow. But then Azula comes out and starts using her lightning. But then the Earthbenders start throwing the rocks down, and they're using those rocks to throw at each other. And then Aang gets knocked out, and Azula comes, and she's gonna try and deliver the finishing blow, but then he gets this rock hand out of the wall and uses that to fight her off. And then he climbs up the wall, turns around, the music is building. Azula sees he's coming down, she shoots the lightning, he goes through the lightning, delivers the finishing blow, and kaboom, the drill is destroyed. Holy fuck, I'm watching this, I'm like, oh my god, man, that was just so fucking huge and epic. And when it was all said and done, they're like, you know, one of them says, "We lost." And they're looking over, the drill is stopped, and Ba Sing Se seems to be safe. And the three, or four now, they're just gonna go into the city, look for Appa. And after all that awesomeness, I said, if you got rid of this episode, would we have missed anything important? Which sounds horrible because this was so big and so epic and so huge. And the whole episode was just dedicated to taking this thing down and the technicals of taking it down. It was unbelievable, the detail that they spent on this. And they had the sun setting while the climax was happening, and it makes for wonderful colors and these wonderful angles. And like I said, the music, some of the best in the series, man, it just kept building. And when it was all said and done, I was just wondering, like, if they got to Ba Sing Se and just went inside, started looking for Appa, what was gained from this episode, really, in terms of the story? And I blame my brother for this, because he's always like, what does that have to do with the story? How does it further the story or the characters or anything? And, I mean, he just asked that with everything, and probably rightfully so. But now it's just ruined to me, because I can see something as awesome as this and question why. So I'm really torn on it. I guess maybe if they write it back in or they work it all together, maybe. But I don't see how it could. It doesn't seem like anyone learned anything or evolved to anything. I mean, yeah, again, you get some nice technique and philosophy, like about, you know, the flow of the chi and pressure points and stuff like that. Like, that stuff's all cool. It's not just a cool episode, it's a fucking awesome episode. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm wondering if it adds up to anything. Maybe it will. Maybe somewhere it'll tie back in. But as of now, I'm just like, that was the most awesome filler. I know people hate it when I use that word, but right now it seems like filler. So, I don't know. I hope it ties into something because it was such an incredible episode, but you know what? Even if it doesn't, it was still incredible. It was still really great, and it was like one long climax, and it was a really good climax with a lot of action and a lot of great techniques in it. Again, wonderful angles. I love that they have the sun setting as this is going on. I thought that created some really nice, some nice purples, some nice yellows and oranges. So it's really, really good colors in it. And again, I'll really credit the music on this one too, the way it just built and built and built. And, you know, it starts off from a simple idea, which I like that Sokka is now... They seem to be very aware of sort of their own tropes and cliches and seem to... They have fun with it in just the right way. For example, there's a scene where Aang says, oh, what was it? Just, now all I need is, and a rock falls right next to him. He says, for once it actually is what I need. And you really feel that it's a genuine laugh because you go, yeah, that really feels like something he would say at that point because everything always seems to be against him. So when something actually does coincidentally fall in place for them, maybe even too conveniently, I wouldn't say this time, but when something like that happens, you can actually say, yeah, fair enough. You do need a little, a little joke there, a little, yes, something goes right my way. So, yeah, a wonderful action, wonderful detail on taking this thing down. I love the creativity of when they need one of the engineers to come into the place so they destroy something there. And there's a bunch of steam, and Katara uses that to freeze the guy. The steam to turn it into ice cold and freeze him. I love little touches like that, even though there's probably about a dozen scenes where you could go, wait a minute, couldn't the earthbenders do this, or the waterbenders do that, or aren't there other ways around this? But I still love they're really, really putting a lot of effort into what they can do with this stuff. And again, I wanted to nitpick, like, she's holding all that rock water splooge, whatever that is. I mean, she's just holding her hand up like this, like no other effort. I'm like, wait a minute, that seems like a pretty big deal to just be like, And she can even make fun of her brother or throw other water on him while she's keeping that up. I'm like, wait a minute, there's more to this than that. The show has demonstrated. The same thing with the earthbenders. I really felt like they're trying to stop this big drill thing, and I'm like, there's other ways to do this. Come on, if she can just go like this and hold all that water rock stuff in there, I mean, the earthbenders can just, like, make one big rock, take that drill, and just go shoomp. So, that's really nitpicking, though. This episode, like I said, had so much good action. The only other thing, I'll talk about is that there's the other story is with Zuko and the uncle and Jet, and, man, this ain't going where I thought it was gonna go. This well, first of all, I thought they were really indicating, as you'll probably hear from the last episode, I thought they were indicating that Jet knew who he was, because he pretty much says, I know who you are, or I know the story behind that scar, or you were lying about it, or protecting your identity or something. I mean, wouldn't you get that he knows who he is? Maybe not, but oh man, I thought maybe they were gonna do like a friendship or something, and they was gonna betray him. I mean, he even says, I could use a friend, relying on others is good. And then what did they do? He's like, come join our brotherhood. No. And walks off, and then he's like, wait a minute, he's a firebender, let's go get him. It's like, oh, what? Man, what you could have done with this? They could have, like, gotten really close like brothers or something, and then maybe Jet would have found out later. Or, again, maybe Jet knew the whole time he was trying to manipulate him, and maybe that whole trust thing that he already had problems with is just made worse. Oh, what you could have done with this. Instead, you just make Jet You just emphasize what a boring character he is. I'm looking for change. That's why I'm going to Ba Sing Se. Firebender? Ooh, let's go get him. It's like nothing's changed. For now, again, I mean, that's the word, or the words you're probably noticing I'm using a lot, is for now, or let's see, or, that's always the trick with a show, is that you don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe they'll do something, really good that I never thought of, but as of now, man, I hope they got something good planned with that, because there's some real good possibilities with that, and instead it looks like they're going sort of a different silly route. I don't know. Well, we'll see where that goes. Like I said, could be totally wrong. Always open to that. That's the difficulty of reviewing a show instead of a movie, is that when a movie's done, it's done. There can be a little to be continued, but for the most part, it's done. With a show, it's like, well, you don't know where the hell it's gonna go. You don't know if they're gonna actually, like, surprise you with something or lead you down a different avenue. So whenever I say, those stupid jerks, they should have known to do this, maybe they are doing that. They're just making you think they're gonna do something else. So I don't know. I don't like where it's going now, but hopefully they'll turn it into something else, or have turned it. I mean, the show's done. It's been years out, but you enjoy me talking about it like it's something new. So yeah, it is a good episode. I'm not gonna say it's not. It was very enjoyable, and I mean, heart-pounding, great action. as action scenes go, I mean, this is just, it's like one long big action scene and it's done really, really well. I would like it to tie more into the story. If it doesn't, you know what? The action's so good, I'll take it. It's still really, really enjoyable. So, that's it. I'll see you at the next one.